Welcome back to the Anachroschism. When we left off last time, the party had just completed the second leg of the Conatus, the second shrine now in the rearview mirror, almost literally because we left off with them just basically exiting back out into the harsh tundra of the Alceus Peninsula. And now, having watched another friend disappear into the ether after the completion of the second shrine, you guys are set to make your way back to Frosthaven and then back across, if you so desire, in the direction of the trial that's going to be happening pretty soon in Waychester.
I would say friend.
Okay.
Acquaintance. Strange acquaintance.
I'm also
Mentally
gonna
handicapped guy we wandered across and wouldn't leave us alone.
Strange acquaintance.
So Isaac's the only one who thinks friend.
Yeah.
But that's all
I think
right.
he was a sweet but damaged individual that we were doing our best to help as he was helping us.
You don't really know a
Correct.
man until you push him across ice.
It's fair. We didn't do that. You did.
And he
Yeah.
slips off immediately. I didn't want to put friend in your guys' mouth, so that's it. At least it was, something close to a friend. But I
It's
wasn't going
hard
to
to
put that on
say,
you.
like, you're someone's friend where you're not even sure if they saw you as a person or as, like, a worshiper. Like, what does he even see of us? Like, are we even really people to him? I don't know.
Fair question.
Only time will tell. So, you guys make your way out of the shrine. At one point, I think Tessia went back to check to see if the book that Isaac had left behind was still there, but the shrine was inaccessible, and you decided to head out, knowing that you only have so many hours of daytime to work with here before things get really bad out here. The same arrangement essentially awaits you as your trip over, which is to say you bought that sort of protection for the back of the wagon of sorts, a small yurt that was kind of covering you from the harshest of the conditions, blocking out most of the winds. And it is still sort of... It hits you differently on the return trip out. It wasn't exactly warm inside the shrine, but still, because you were protected primarily from the wind, which was non-existent, it was tolerable, like chilly but fine. Coming back out into the winds, it's immediately like, oh god, like it just chills you to your bone right away. I'm assuming we're going, well, it's up to you guys. I'm assuming Lena's driving.
Yeah.
But what's the arrangement? Last time Karash was up front. You guys gonna rock that again or change it up, or?
No, I'll sit up front again. I gotta be within 10 feet of the horses for that to get a bonus from my paladin aura.
Yeah, it's true. They want that paladin aura. As an added bonus, the party won't be able to tell when you're getting frostbite, so...
It's true. You could have it right now and we wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
What do I look like? Do I look like Jon Snow, basically? Like the big, fur kind of cloak lining stuff?
Essentially, yeah. It was all
Cool.
pretty heavy gear that you got to protect yourself from the worst of this, and it's sort of like... I think, like, Calvin used to wear this in Calvin and Hobbes, or like Kenny, sort of, where it's like really tight around the face. So you have eyes and nose and face and stuff, but like it's covering everything else best as it can. It's relatively tight around the face.
I got a snout sticking out.
Essentially, yeah. It's meant to cover as much of your skin as humanly possible because, as people in the area would tell you, the more skin that's exposed, the worse it gets for everyone.
So we have to play like this all day, okay, everyone? Just, this is all you see.
Good.
There you go.
And
There
then
you go.
when it comes time to roll your dice, you have to do that with your toes.
Isaac, what are you
You're in a
doing?
tunnel. Isaac! So, the one downside of this, of course, is that your internal feeling as far as which direction to go is no longer at present whatsoever. The feeling faded once you entered the shrine, Lena, and now that you have exited it and had not had time to meditate on where the next location might be yet, you have nothing inside of you kind of guiding you as far as what the direction of the next shrine might be or how to get back to Frosthaven.
But
But
Karash.
I was using my compass the whole way to make sure we had a good heading on where we were relative to where we started. So
You were. So you have at least a decent idea. It's,
Yeah.
West and a little bit south. It'll help. You're not going to set off to the east, for example. You'll be in decent shape because of that. But still, as you know from your limited vision on the way over, once the winds pick up pretty harshly, your vision gets reduced severely, and seeing Frosthaven is going to be a bit of a trick. Now, the good news is, by heading west, you at least know the general shape of the peninsula from Testian's map and his kind of awareness of Aramean geography in general. that it's going to be hard to screw this up too badly because there's the mountains to the north that are going to block your progress from going too far north, and there's water to the south, so if you go too far south, you would find out pretty quickly. So as long as you head generally west, you'll be okay, but depending on how well you guys can navigate this, it might be more of a circuitous route or more of a straight one. With that in mind, I need an
Gotcha.
animal handling check from Lena.
Oh God,
Ruh-roh.
I didn't log in. I'm
Oh.
so sorry.
What in the
boy.
world?
You're fired.
We vamped for like 2 hours.
People don't know this. We've been talking about
Star Wars,
movies and Game
Game
of
of
Thrones,
Thrones.
everything. We've been
No, it's true. You guys have been talking for forever, and I was just listening and enjoying it.
At some point, when
and-
we have a fan base, we can like do this on air, so you can see like behind the scenes. As
Yeah.
it stands, you know,
Everything is
it's,
content.
we're just gonna talk. Yeah, it'll
were
be behind the
vamping about-
paywall.
join
Yeah.
our Patreon and subscribe below.
Yeah.
Mhm.
animal handling. Okay.
Objection Network Prime.
19 animal handling.
Okay. As you kind of step back outside and pet the horses, they look cold.
Oh.
The blankets that you got for them have helped, but again, there's not really any escaping the fact that the body temperature is going to drop eventually over time. Can't do much about that. But it's at least shielded them from the worst of the elements. They look unenthused about the prospect of making the journey back, but because you've built a rapport with them, it's easy to kind of reassure them a bit, brush some of the excess snow and little bits of ice that have formed on them off, and prepare them to start heading back in that direction. And with kind of a whip of the reins, you set them off to the west, following Karash's compass as best you can, since he's navigating alongside you at the front of the wagon. Tessie and Isaac, you hold up in the back. You hold up. So
And I want to say, so I've got navigator's tools and I've got like the maps and stuff. So I want to use Crash's compass and my navigator's tools and just sort of kind of get a rough idea, and then push in fact, I will not only use that rough idea, I will kind of plan out that rough idea. And just to be sure, Lena will take that scroll or whatever the heck that is that we have.
Yeah.
And we will detail our assumed path back that we are planning to take geographically on that, both so that we can show where the shrine is and document our journey. And if we die in the cold, maybe they can find our bodies because someone will know about it. Maybe.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that how that works? It sends it to them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
okay.
does.
There you go. That's
Okay.
how that's going to...
I like it.
and actually, I want to look at that again. I'm just curious how long it takes to transmit.
How long before they come for us? I don't know, man. Like 3 months.
Yeah, I'd
Fax
say.
machines work really terribly.
It's just coming out like a line at a time.
Oh, it says that they're traveling in the cold. Oh, it also says, "Help us, dear God, we're freezing to death." Oh,
Oh
when
no.
was
Oh,
this
no.
said?
I don't even remember what the hell I based that on. I had to go dig into the notes for when you first got it. It doesn't really matter, whatever.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
It'll be fine because we're gonna live.
Exactly.
Sure. It would be great if I set you guys up. We talked about the scheduling for the next sessions before we started, too. And it'd be great if I set them up with something they were never going to survive and just lie to them.
Make new characters.
You guys in the back doing anything with this journey, or is it just kind of like staying warm best you can? And because from the journey over that it took better part of about 12 hours, and as such you kind of had to camp in the middle of it as well. And at this point, although it's much too overcast, and again the wind blowing snow all around you, have no idea where the sun's position is, but it's fair to say it's at least early afternoon-ish, just from how much time you think has passed. So you're going to have some kind of other camp out ahead of you again, because you're never going to make it back to the town before it gets fully nightfall.
I would love to be trying to whittle a banjo in memorial for Grail, but I would at some point give up because it's too goddamn hard with the huge gloves and this little knife, and it's too cold. So I would just bundle up.
Aw.
Tessian's gonna just kind of keep an eye out on the scenery and try to make sure that we're roughly following the right path. Given that he plotted something, so he should be able to kind of look at slopes and mountains and try to make sure we're going in the right area? I'm sure there's a check in there somewhere, but
I'll say no for the moment, if only because you can sort of retrace your steps in that you guys eventually started keeping to the base of the mountain, and it seemed to cut into at least some of the winds a bit, as opposed to being exposed out closer to the ocean. So if you want to follow that same strategy, then I don't really think a check is required, but you can just sort of keep an eye out and make sure that you're all heading on the right bearing.
Yeah.
and make sure there's like no killer wolves following us or anything like that. You know?
Also true, they really like horses. So.
Couple of hours pass, just cold conversations, mostly non-existent. Maybe there's small talk and whatnot, but for the most part, half the time when you'd be wanting to talk, you feel like your teeth would be chattering anyways, and it's just a matter of retaining any warmth that you can, shrinking into yourself, rubbing your chest. We already made the Batman Begins joke. It's fine.
I use prestidigitation to warm people's clothes.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's especially helpful for the folks in the front.
It's only 3 of these at once, so it's just like me and Isaac in the back, basically. I guess one of you. Who doesn't want it?
You can only choose one?
I got only 3 people.
Oh.
And you better believe Tessian's picking himself.
Yeah, I would I would say whoever else needs it,
Okay,
take it.
Isaac suffers. He just did the 2 in the front, and
It reminds me of my pain. I do it to stay alive.
I've become so numb.
would not want to ruin that vibe. So
I was going to start from
keep
the
it.
beginning of the song, but if you're going to insist.
Be what you want me to. It's actually probably for the best benefit anyways, because they are getting a nice little coating of snow and sleet on them as they sit in the front, because that part's not nearly as covered by this contraption you've set on the back of the wagon. So it actually helps them more than it really helps Tessian. Well, it helps Tessian too, but like them in particular, it's a nice little squeegee of sorts that keeps the worst of the moisture off of them. It helps.
Tessian.
Yeah, I can use shape water to help with that too. If it starts to like puddle up, I could just like pull it off.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be good.
Watch it turn instantly to ice.
Exactly, like little ice shapes and stuff.
Yeah. Keep it warm as best you can. Another hour or 2 passes, and although you still have no idea where the sun is, if it's even out today, who the hell even knows, because it's just white and gray surrounding you in pretty much all directions, you do notice that the light is starting to fade a bit. Whatever it's providing on the exterior of all this cloud cover, it's doing less of, and nightfall is rapidly approaching.
Are we still kind of close to the base of the mountain?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to try to get as close as possible and try to get some cover for us. Some, like preferably in a spot where there's not as much wind. And then make camp. So.
Much like the night before, you are able to nestle up against a part of the mountain after some searching. You kind of keep an eye out for maybe 20 or 30 minutes and find a spot where the mountain kind of has an outcropping that sticks up more than another spot that will kind of like have the winds carry over the top of it, and in the shadow of it underneath it you might be able to at least cover most of it.
Okay.
It's also note that there's a lot less snow underground in the area there, just because the wind blows it over the top, and it'll be easier to clear away if you wish to make a campfire again.
Absolutely, I do, and I want to tie up the horses and make sure they're like pretty close to the fire so they can get some warmth and feed them. And yeah, and I'll take first watch, so I'll just kind of be bustling along.
Bustle, bustle, bustle.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys set up camp for the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Build a fire like the first time. And it helps. It takes the worst of the edge off. You can see how in short bursts this is at least tolerable, but you can also feel like if this is the warmest you get, huddled underneath the spot with as little wind as possible, with a campfire roaring at your side, and this is the best you can do, like multiple days out here and long-term exposure would not be a phenomenal choice.
I just don't understand how people live out here like this.
Not even respond. It's too much energy to respond.
Yeah.
I'm just.
I don't get it either. We don't get snow like this back home. Dustings at best.
And I'm sitting about as close to the fire as I can possibly
Yeah.
get.
Just in the fire.
Actually, am I doing okay? What is Timberbrook like?
Timberbrook's cooler than some of the other cities, but it's still relatively far enough south. I mean,
So I'm doing as bad as everyone.
you have seen snow. Timberbrook at its worst time of year for a month or two might get a few inches in a couple different storms. So it's not like it's brand new. You've had the cold before, but again, this is unlike anything. Even Timberbrook at its worst is nothing like this.
Okay.
There's a few other places further north of Timberbrook. Zonebridge gets a decent amount of snow in the right times of year, but here, I mean, this is summer. And this is how bad it is up here. So you can only imagine if this was 6 months from now, what the hell this place would be like. You guys eventually set up your, I was going to say mats. What am I thinking of? Bedrolls. Keep them out of the snow best you can. The campfire does a lot of the work, taking care of whatever other snow happens to kind of drift by on occasion. It's really not that bad, so you're not getting like a wet camp setup or anything. And who's taking second watch? Cap.
Dibs on not me.
So, Lena, I will have you make both a perception check and a nature check.
Ooh, okay. I'll do perception first.
You better.
All right. I'm doing it. That's a 19.
Okay.
And then nature. 7. Oh, no. It's not good.
You enter your meditative state because you can still kind of keep tabs on what's happening around you as you keep watch this way. And perhaps because you're trying to keep an awareness about what's around you, or because it's cold as hell and you're just not able to focus as well as you might like. When you first started to feel out the second shrine, your connection to nature was so thorough that you felt like you had a bead of understanding about it from the very beginning. This innate sort of sense of like, once you took the time to focus on it, it felt second nature. Like it was, yeah, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. Like it was a location that you had always known, like lingering somewhere inside of you. As you try to at least get a cursory sense of where the third shrine might be, it's south. It feels really far away. You're not entirely sure where. It also doesn't really help because everything is south. You'd be concerned if it was north.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't give you a very strong sense of where the third shrine might be.
All right. Well, I tried.
Beyond that, you hear the occasional, like the wind swirling and picking up and howling kind of around you because of the shape of the mountain that you've sort of gotten refuge underneath. You had heard from the guards on the east side of Frosthaven that they were posted there specifically to keep out creatures of some sort. Didn't really ask to find out what, but that they were there for a reason, and that's the main side of the town that they seem to be protecting against. But over your span of watch, you don't really hear anything. And over your time traveling over the last couple of days to and from, you haven't really seen a whole lot in the way of creatures of any kind. And that continues throughout your watch as well. You are used to at least hearing certain sounds from certain creatures, and maybe these are unlike what you're used to, but even so, you have certain recognizable pitter-patter of feet, and there's no telltale signs of that during your watch. Eventually,
Okay.
you make your way over to Karash, shake him awake, if he wishes to be woken. Okay.
Thank you, Koresh, for helping.
Yeah.
You can
Sure,
go back to sleep if you want. I
No,
can...
it's fine.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Crash, why don't I keep you company? I'm not really sleeping a lot anyway.
Fine.
That sounds
Fresh
like
Stevens
words.
Coffee.
So the two of you are going to keep watch?
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
We're not going to talk at all, though. Well, Isaac's not going to talk at all. If Karash is dying to bring something up, then, fine.
Is he?
11.
Why is this not? Oh, no. Hold on a second. Here, keep going. It's making me re-sign in. Or is this critical? Okay, give me a second. Vamp for me, anyone, please.
Vamp.
Oh God! I just realized we haven't. Oh no!
What?
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 right.
That is
What?
not
You've
vamping.
not finished a long rest yet. I was just kind of like.
Oh yeah, no, we're all still injured and pretty worn the heck out.
Yeah. Spell slots are missing. And
So when these ice giants roll up on us all smooth like in the middle of the night,
I will.
We might be
Yeah.
able to.
Sorry, horsies.
I'll be okay. But then when you all die, because you're tired, then I'll be screwed.
I think you'd really appreciate the extra angst,
That's true.
I think it's what
All
you
my
need
friends
in
are
your
dead.
life.
This is awesome.
Finally.
I've never had more reason to brood.
21 perception.
This is the true pain of being alive. As you and Karash sit quietly with miserable weather all around you and Lena and Tessian trying to get some semblance of sleep or whatever it is Lena chooses to do, because she can but doesn't have to.
I should probably get some sleep.
It wouldn't hurt to maybe get some sleep, and it's a great way to pass the time as opposed to being awake in this awful weather.
Yeah.
So with them kind of curled up in their bedrolls and looking cold themselves, but asleep, the two of you are sort of beset by this eerie silence that's only offset by the occasional, like, that's actually pretty good.
Some good wind.
And a couple hours pass, and it starts to feel like it's going to be somewhat close to when the sunrise would be. Again, there's no night sky whatsoever, no stars, no nothing. Can't see anything. You can't really even see more than about 20 feet beyond. Like, you could stick your hand out and practically lose it, for God's sake. It's bad. The visibility is extremely low out here. But, Isaac, you, because it's so quiet except for the wind picking up occasionally, you in particular hear something that sounds different than just the fire cracking over time. It sounds more like the clattering of feet.
Crash, do you hear that?
I do not hear anything
Sounds
but
like
the wind.
footsteps in that direction.
Wake up, Lena. I will wake Tessian.
Are they in the same tent?
Probably.
Like, you guys...
I don't know.
I mean, probably to keep warm.
Okay.
Like,
And I'll
Yeah.
go wake you
People
both
about
up.
to heat
yeah, I just grab them both. They're in, like, reaching
Goes in,
distance.
picks up Lena, takes her out, leaves Tessian.
Anyways, yeah, well, I'll just say, hey, we heard some noises outside. We might have to go investigate, but we thought we should let you know.
Okay. Okay.
Noises? What kind of noises?
Like footsteps, noises.
Footsteps. Okay. I'm gonna rub my eyes
God,
so that I
you're all
wake up a little
Terrible
better.
at waking up,
I'm sorry.
for what it's worth.
I'm
And I go outside.
very tired.
How dare you?
I'll join you guys.
So
outside.
I want to stealth out. I'm going to kind of go like behind the tent and kind of go around stealthing. And I want to go to where I heard the footsteps, but like really quietly.
Okay, make a stealth check.
almost not even alerting like and if they're watching me, they're gonna see me, but I'm not gonna be like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go stealth." I'm just gonna like do it. So
Bye.
they might not know where I am. 20.
Okay. One of the benefits of the visibility being so low is that you feel like you can pretty comfortably slink into the shadows, as it were. There's not really any shadows of anything in particular. It's just that everything around you is this kind of swirling mass of snow that once you leave the safety of the outcropping hits you anew, and you're like, God, this fucking weather again. But the plus side is you do kind of feel like you are able to slink off pretty effectively. Heading off in that direction, you see maybe about 50 feet from the tent, maybe 60 tops, some kind of blue and white bipedal creature. It's difficult to make out for certain because of the weather and the distance, because even at that range it's kind of hard to make details out for sure. But whatever it is, even though it is upright and on 2 feet, even at this distance and this poor visibility, you can see is decidedly not human and seems to have claws and pincers and a pretty long tail, and is approaching the area where the campfire is.
Can I do a knowledge check just to see if I know what it is?
I can save you the trouble and tell you you have no idea.
Shit.
Because
Okay.
these things have never been around Timberbrook or anything remotely close to it. I mean, I tell you what, if you want to roll it, you might hit a natural 20.
No, well, okay. Well,
Maybe it's something you read in one of your Tales of the Gunslingers, and you have I'll give you a shot at it.
What-
But
what,
I'll tell you, it's going to take a 20.
is it intelligence then for a knowledge check or
History.
history? Okay.
I will give you a crack. It seems fair. But
4.
Yeah,
so
no.
apt for this. No,
It's
no
a
clue
it's
at
a
all.
human. It's a puppy.
Yeah. So it is going towards the tent, like
Kind of
quickly.
creeping up on it. But it's creeping up seemingly stealthily, but also at speed that should not be possible for a creature trying to be quiet, almost as though it were acclimated to traveling in this type of atmosphere and is not inhibited by it in any way.
Fuck. I don't like that it has pincers and claws and is going to the team. Well, I could warn them or I could open fire. So I'm going to open fire.
Which is one kind of warning when we just hear gunshots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about it. Hey guys, there's a thing. You'll get it. You'll get what's happening.
You'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So what is this? It's, I guess, is it? I'm surprising and I'm assuming, but what does that mean for anything?
It means you get to
Just-
act before initiative starts, but
So
there's
just my
no advantage or
regular kind
anything.
of thing. Okay.
Yeah. There are some things that might get a benefit from that, but
Okay. I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna do at least on the first shot. So the sharpshooter with dead eye, so rolling advantage but subtracting from the shot.
okay.
So it's minus so 13 to hit.
Does not hit.
So I'm sure he hears it. Do I still get the second action, or was that the one shot? Is it?
You get the second shot of your attack action. So you do have a second shot before this is going to...
Oh, okay, but the bonus shot won't go off.
No.
Okay.
So you do get a second attack because you have 2 attacks built into your one action that you can do.
Are you fucking kidding? I'm gonna use a fucking luck point. Jesus Christ! Get your shit together, man. Come on. Okay, so it critted.
Oh,
Okay.
So that helped. So for crit damage, it gives me damage here. Is that just correct? Is that what it is?
I feel like there have been times where that hasn't been calculated correctly. I'm not in Roll20, Jason. Is that right?
No, it's not right. It's giving you 7 on your 1d10 roll, which is not right?
So
Wait.
so what should I add to it then?
Let me kind of see.
No, hold on. It is
Uh,
doubling it. Wait, 7 plus 5 plus 2. Oh no, it's wrong. So you rolled a 7. You could double that to 14, then add another 7.
So 20. So 31 damage.
Okay.
Jesus.
As a
Wait,
sharpshooter.
Well, because of
Plus 10.
sharpshooter. So I'm adding 10
yeah,
to
I
whatever.
forgot
else.
about
Yeah.
forgot about the sharpshooter. Yes,
Okay. I need everybody to roll initiative, please.
unacceptable.
Yay!
And now I'll tell everyone there's a nasty critter out here. He was stealthing up on you all.
It's the last land sea cow in existence, and you just murdered
Yeah,
it.
I mean, look, he was really aggressive. Did you want to be murdered by the last sea cow?
No, last land sea cow.
Whatever.
Land sea cow.
We are the worst at this.
6.
Can I just say, we got a
6.
6 from Lena, a 10 from Tessian, an 8 from Isaac, and an 11 from Crash.
Yeah.
Our
big
initiative rolls
11.
are really
You
bad.
broke 10,
Wait, how was
buddy.
that?
You broke 10.
So wait a minute, though. 3 plus 5. So I roll. Oh, I rolled a.
You
I rolled a
three.
3. Okay, yeah,
Rolled a 3.
that's correct.
Let's get it out of the initiative phase. Get all the bad rolls out now.
Shockingly, that still does not open the door for the other thing to go first.
Oh,
So with
God.
an 11, Karash, as we enter the initiative order, you hear 2 gunshots ring out, and one of them, there's 0 follow-up. It just whistles by and sails somewhere into
It
the
breaks
night
the
sky.
canteen.
Yeah, it hits the tent. It hits the horse, and the horse falls over.
Nothing.
And a shot in a mist.
All right, I'm gonna run
but
the
the
direction of the.
The second one does strike some kind of creature. I'll have you make a perception check, because you have no visual on this, but it does cry out in pain when that decently hard strike hits it with a bullet.
10.
That is enough to at least know, because it's not that far away. You have to kind of like swirl around for a minute, like, okay, I heard the shot go by, I'm looking, like, where? And eventually your eyes settle on that something that you're closer to at this point. So you can have a little more description about it. Where the hell did that picture of it go? Aw, shit. Hold on. I got it.
Unprepared.
Here it is.
Blue and bipedal. It's my cousin, and you just shot it, you dick.
Why have you done this? I'll just put it on the screen because that's easier than trying to describe it, although I don't mind a good description. But
So this is without the spear, though?
correct. It does
Oh,
not have
Jesus.
spears.
God, no.
Yeah, now do you feel bad that I shot it?
It is my cousin.
Kind of. It has a tail
I
and you
mean-
don't.
I know what that is. Jason does.
Uh-huh.
Does Tessian have any idea what that is?
No. Has Tessian come up to this peninsula before? Because they don't tell stories about the things up here because nobody goes out to see them, and the ones who do don't come back to tell the tale.
All right.
So,
What a good time to have no spell slots.
I know. It's pretty rare for this campaign. Let's see how you guys respond. So you come across that about 20 feet away from the campfire. Leaving the area of the campfire does sort of reduce your vision a bit, but you can see it well enough, especially once you get close to it. It's also bigger than you are. Towers over you by a good 3 or 4 feet. But you have located the creature. What would you like to do?
Okay. Well, I'm not wearing pants, so shitting myself seems unnecessary. No. I'm wearing pants. It's too cold not to. What are we?
I was going to say, are you going to tell me you're not
Crash-
wearing pants in this weather?
Karash just Winnie the Pooh's it all day, every day. All right. I'm gonna attack with my big sword.
Okay.
13 to hit.
Nope.
Why? Corn, help me out.
How many hours has it been that we've been traveling? Like
Since you left Frosthaven?
since we left
This morning.
this morning, or when we got to the shrine, roughly.
So let's see. You had about 3 or, if I remember this right, because it took you about 3 or 4 hours after breaking camp to get there, and you were inside for a couple of hours. So you probably left the shrine at about 2 p.m., and it's probably like 3 in the morning, maybe 4.
It's been more than 8 hours since I probably cast Mage Armor, so
Yes.
just trying to, yeah.
That one I can
Just
tell you
if I-
with certainty it has.